What would you do if you met a goat in the wild? Don't even think about it. Just pack it up and take it home. It is very simple to handle. First, pull the fur off. By the way, cut the meat into pieces for processing. Friends who have the means must get a smoking rack. This can not only enable the meat to be stored for a longer time, it can also add a kind of fragrance of trees. One can only imagine how fragrant it is when put in the mouth. Of course, you can also choose to stew rabbits. It tastes extremely delicious. Is there still anyone saying nowadays that one can only starve in the wild? Kelly was forcibly persuaded to leave home not long ago. The remaining people still have to face new challenges. This time the group is going to work together to build spring traps and collect mussels as bait. It can lift at least 30 pounds of logs. After the trap has completed one trigger, the traps still need to be rearranged. The materials are ready by the program team. It all depends on how the contestants handle it. This spring trap can be said to have been made by all the contestants. Like Jerome, she always does it every time she goes to the wild. It is definitely better than others in terms of experience. I'm very confident of being the first to complete the challenge. The reward for the first place is a goat. It's enough to fill 3 people's stomachs. It's really too important for the mat group. So far, only they haven't eaten the meat. Have you taken that down no matter what? The only second place goes to the rabbit. The last place has nothing at all, and they also have to face the knockout stage. Everyone is thinking of striving for the first place and securing the third. At least don't enter the knockout stage. The other groups were all very excited. It was just that the daring group had few frowning faces. I have mentally prepared myself for the knockout stage in advance. Without further ado, the challenge officially begins. Everyone was charging forward desperately, even if it's just a little bit faster. It's possible that the goat will be taken down by someone. 6 mussels need to be collected now. It was not easy to find in the first place. The contestants are still competing with each other. The scene was quite chaotic. Those who don't know might think it's here to seek gold. In fact, 2 or 3 for each person is enough. The lucky contestants have all been gathered. Seize the time to create the trap. The difference between the two is less than 1 minute. It still depends on who can complete the trap first. Is there no manufacturing difficulty for them? It is necessary to strive in terms of speed. First, find a suitable sapling and try to bend it. Although the darling group was small in number, but in terms of efficiency, it is no worse than others. The contestants gradually chose the suitable saplings. Originally, the 3 of them worked together in a division of labor and quickly got it done. But the saplings in Jamie's group have all been selected. Susan hasn't finished collecting the materials yet. It is much slower than other groups in terms of speed. Tracy really wanted to go up and question her. Susan doesn't think it's a big problem. It just looks a bit slow now. But there's no need to look for materials later. Overall, it will definitely be better. It's just that some teammates don't understand. Jamie was much calmer. He once caught hares with this. It indicates that everything is under one's own control. Chris collects materials very quickly. They can already start to try to create traps. The difficulty in making traps lies in fixing the crossbar. Knock the tree trunk as deep as possible. There is absolutely no problem in terms of teamwork. The darling group was also highly efficient. Judging from the current progress, the top 3 should be fine. It all depends on whether the goats can make an effort. Jamie's group had no tacit understanding at all. It is also particularly difficult to communicate. Still haven't decided how to set the trap. Communication is needed at every step. It's hard to even improve efficiency. If it continues like this, they are definitely going to enter the knockout stage. Compare with this side of the mat group. Others picked up the materials and started working. There was not the slightest hesitation. This has been done many times for them. It can be almost done even with eyes closed. Usually, it is necessary to trim the wooden sticks for fixation. The mat team can take off the parachute rope before and bind it. Anyway, as long as it can be touched, that's fine. The trigger lever is the key to connecting and fixing both sides. Make sure of the moment when the prey touches. It can be triggered and caught smoothly. The trap has been completed on Darling's side. It has begun to enter the debugging state. Kayla held down the trap to avoid accidental touches. As soon as Darling adjusts it, put the logs on. As long as the trap can catch this, then they can be regarded as having completed the first time. However, reality was not as smooth as imagined. Darling still has to constantly adjust the traps. Matt's side has also entered the final adjustment state. It's much faster for 3 people to work together than to do it by themselves. The pulling force of the saplings is even greater than imagined. The tree trunk is a little unable to hold up. The materials need to be replaced and reinforced again. All 3 of them were very quick. Should there be no problem with the challenge? The Parker team is also almost done. Everyone's structural choices are slightly different. It all depends on who can finish it faster. If the Parker group can trigger successfully now, they will be able to enjoy a whole roasted lamb tonight, just when the other groups were almost finished. Jamie's group has just begun to manufacture. The speed difference is not just a little. It has been successfully triggered on the Parker group side. However, the logs did not reach the required height. The main reason is that too many ropes were placed. Theoretically, make a slight adjustment. It should be able to make the trap succeed. The mat group won't wait for them. Thick wood was added on the basis of the original. This is sure to stabilize it. When triggered, the rebound will be sufficient to throw the prey up. There's no need to look much at Jamie's group. There is too much difference in speed, even if they manage to fix the trap with difficulty. But it is completely useless when actually operating. So let's think about what to do in the knockout stage. They had little experience with this to begin with. All kinds of mistakes occurred during manufacturing. I don't think this can succeed in the short term. Look at the Darren group. There are few of them. There is nothing wrong with doing things at all. If Kelly hadn't quit the challenge, they must have dealt with the trap and eaten the meat long ago. After repeated adjustments, how about giving a try now? It's easier to accidentally touch than imagined. It's not difficult to adjust, but it's a bit annoying. In the challenge of racing, any point is processed and adjusted. All of them affect the outcome of the challenge. The reset has been completed on Parker's side. However, when attempting, the rope link came loose directly. Jerome still overestimated herself a little. This challenge is much more difficult than imagined. The mat group has strengthened and adjusted the trap properly. The goat has to be put in the stomach to feel at ease. This side of the trap seems more reliable than others. After handling this trigger lever properly, pick up the log immediately and have try. As successful as imagined. It's not the time to be happy yet. It still needs to be rearranged and bait placed. The second time was much smoother. Now you can rush over and take a photo with the goat. They can finally eat meat to their heart's content tonight. The mood was quite excited. It has to be said that their strength is indeed stronger than that of other groups. If the program team does not adjust the personnel, I'm afraid they can keep winning all the time. The other contestants were very anxious when they saw that. At least strive to win over that hare. The Parker group was in a very low mood, although I really want to focus on the challenge. But the thought that the goat is gone makes me very uncomfortable. It was the Darren group that calmed down instead. Rabbits are not that attractive. As long as it is possible not to participate in the challenge competition, they think it's enough. Under such a state of mind, the traps were adjusted faster than those of the other groups instead. The effect is just a bit unsatisfactory. Jamie Eyeside has successfully triggered it after the re-challenge. If there hadn't been that small mistake just now, they had taken down the goat long ago. Wild rabbits can still be obtained now. Isn't it better than having nothing at all? Parker was even more excited than a mat group. Those who don't know might think he is the champion. The group has been able to succeed all the time, as long as it keeps going. It's not a dream to eat and drink well before the final. The remaining two groups were extremely anxious. No one will think of participating in the knockout stage. At present, both sides are just bickering. No one can make the trap work. Perhaps only the Dolan group is in a better situation. The trap has been successfully adjusted. It all depends on whether it can be done smoothly. I tried 3 times and finally succeeded. Next, all that is needed is to rearrange and place the bait. This can be said to be very easy. It was done almost without taking much time, although the Darren group got nothing. But as long as one does not participate in the knockout stage, then they still have a chance to carry on. The trap hasn't been set up on Tracy's side yet. Only then did she realize that all the people around her had disappeared. This doesn't mean they are completely defeated. Parker was gloating over there again. Jamie and Susan didn't expect the cooperation to be so bad. I think it's Tracy's problem. They have to find a way to send Tracy home. The challenge is over. Everyone can go back and enjoy the big meal. The goats in the mat group are more important than all the fish in the other groups. Deal with it immediately after a brief discussion. Try to pull the fur off completely. I want the meat to be preserved for a longer time. This definitely requires the method of smoking. Max dealt with it in previous challenges. The pork with warts was stored for 21 days at that time. He believes there must be no problem this time either. These reeds nearby are a nice thing. It can not only be used like a rope, it can also add fragrance when smoked. I want to steadily remove the moisture. The best thing is to collect the bark and cover it. Allow the meat to be fully smoked. If not handled properly, just like the previous challenges, waste a large chunk of meat. Even after eating, he still vomited and had diarrhea. I want to eat smoked meat when I go wild in the future. Remember to do it this way. It tastes definitely better than if you roast it directly. This is the correct way to survive in the wild. Friends who want to eat are welcome to come and have a taste. Chris was busy pulling the rabbit's fur off. The liver inside can replenish a considerable amount of energy. Put everything into the pot and stew it. It smells really good. Put it directly into your mouth and taste it carefully. Even though we were eating rabbits, there was a strong smell of chicken. It feels really wonderful. The Darling group could only have some berries to supplement. I'm quite happy in mood. After all, there is no need to worry about being eliminated tomorrow. Food is sure to have a chance again in the future. Tracy is going to participate in the knockout stage for the second time. Mentally, it was quite relaxing. I don't think I will lose. It might be impossible to defeat Jamie, but Susan is sure to handle it. Tracy didn't keep the berries to herself. Instead, I brought it back to share with everyone. Susan doesn't trust her very much. The main reason is that I caused my teammate to have diarrhea when I challenged Tracy before. He was unwilling to accept all the food she offered. Tracy was really very aggrieved. I never thought it would be like this. Now I'm even more eager to get Susan out and bring her home. The challenge has reached the 7th day. The Parker team is in good form, although it was said that there were rabbits to eat yesterday. But when I think of Matt's group eating goats, the mood was extremely uncomfortable. One must go hunting in person to prove oneself. He had hunted antelopes alone before. Plus, there are traces of prey activities nearby. I'm quite confident that I can succeed. Jamie's team is waiting for the knockout stage. None of them wants to be eliminated and go home like this. Susan doesn't want to be separated from Jamie. Her goal is to send Tracy away. The two were encouraging each other over there. Tracy didn't even glance. Just want to proceed with the knockout stage as soon as possible. Go over immediately with the scroll to announce. Now we need to go to the destination first. No one spoke on the way there. Susan was only intent on eliminating Tracy and bringing her home. Tracy, of course, would not surrender without a fight. She sent Susan away with her backhand. Then what if Jamie is unfortunately eliminated? It feels like this team is completely ruined. Now, they're going to make rocker arm pot racks to boil water. This requires inserting the poles into the ground. Then make the concave buckle cut. Be capable of lifting or lowering the swing. The key lies in being able to boil water. Then lift it and shake it away from the fire source to cool down. It sounds quite simple, but no one has done so before. It proves that this thing is a bit difficult to handle. They can't care about so much. Let's make it first and have a look. The first step is to find the appropriate materials. Then we still have to consider how to make a fire. The concave part is also very important. If the cutting position is too deep, it is easy to cause breakage. It's too shallow and not easy to fix the rocker arm. Everyone is figuring out how to handle it well. Basically, it's just observing while cutting. Like Tracy has never made it. It gives me a headache as soon as I deal with it. On the contrary, Jamie is full of confidence. The wooden stick has begun to be buried in the soil. Susan saw that Tracy hadn't started yet. She was in an extremely good mood. The stick has been stuffed into the soil. Next, we need to practice the arm swing. She is not sure how to use it more safely. Get your little head working. Think about how to embed it more conveniently. Jamie seems even more unreliable here. Are you sure you can meet the requirements of the program team? The only option is to search for new materials for manufacturing. It is planned to replace it with a longer and thicker size. He didn't expect that this seemed simple. It will be so difficult to manufacture. Tracy was rather unhurried. Nobody really understood her. Just follow your own pace. It is certain to complete the challenge and avoid elimination. Susan has begun to try hanging the pot on it. The effect is better than imagined. Next, as long as the fire is successfully made, she thinks there should be no problem. I'm just afraid that Jamie won't be able to complete the challenge. After all, he still hasn't got the wooden stick ready up to now. Tracy saw Susan begin to try to make a fire. I was a little anxious too. Jamie still hasn't managed to shake his arm here. It needs to be adjusted properly again. In fact, the gap among everyone is not obvious. There's a possibility of being overtaken at any time. Susan began to try making a fire. If there's a flame igniter at hand, is this basically not difficult? The key lies in the final boiling of water. Susan was a little worried that the pot would be too heavy and fall over. The actual operation was truly nerve-wracking. Fortunately, no problems occurred in the end. Could it be that Susan is going to secure the appearance spot? It's not the time to be happy yet. After the water is boiled, the rocker arm still needs to be moved. Will there be any problems during this period? No one can guarantee. Susan, however, relaxed her mood. There is still time to care about the situation of others. Tracy hasn't even got the wooden stick ready now. I was extremely anxious in my heart. I kept failing at the step of moving the rocker arm. You should know that Jamie has already started to make a fire. Could it be that Tracy was really sent home? She could only focus on the work at hand. Only in this way can there be a chance to overtake. With Tracy's continuous efforts. Finally, I managed to get the swing arm done. Next, as long as the fire is successfully made, she still has a chance to overtake. The pot on Jamie's side was also successfully hung up. It is closer to the flame and easier to boil here. Susan's side could only keep adding flames. Hope it can speed up a little. However, small blisters were seen inside. She thinks she still has an advantage. After all, Triss has only just begun to make a fire now. Theoretically, it is impossible to overtake. But the problem is that someone else's flame is very close to the pot. It will be easier to boil the water. It's really hard to say whether Susan can complete the challenge successfully. It's just that her mindset is really good. I'm still in the mood to chat with Jamie. Tracy was quite relaxed originally. Unexpectedly, the wind blew. The fire shot up to the rope. If this breaks, it's all over. What Tracy can do now, just went and got some water immediately to wet the rope. Susan was gloating over the misfortune on the side. She felt that the water in her pot was almost ready. Just let it cool down later and you can take the challenge. It's just that the flames here are not easy to control. It always needs to be adjusted to touch the bottom of the pot. On the contrary, it was much smoother for Jamie. The water should boil before Susan, and Tracy has to keep staring at the rope all the time, afraid that it might suddenly disconnect in the next second. Unexpectedly, Jamie had the problem first. The rope broke without any warning. For now, the pot can only be taken out first. The other two had no time to care. Stare fixedly at the rope of one's own home and observe. I'm afraid of having to start all over again, like Jamie. There is no time to be sentimental. Jamie has to fix this thing again quickly. It took him a lot of effort to take the pot out. Susan was clearly the first to boil water. It is indeed much slower in terms of speed. The flame could never reach the desired height. On the contrary, Tracy performed steadily. There are already signs of overtaking. Jamie has only tied the rope up now. Theoretically, as long as the rope doesn't break, he still has a chance to take on the challenge. Susan doesn't think she will lose, as long as the flame can be maintained. This can boil sooner or later. Tracy is much more steady. Keep observing the movement of the flames. With her continuous efforts, she successfully boiled the water. The last step is to rearrange the rocker arm. As long as you're a little careful, there's basically no problem. Tracy was finally able to breathe a sigh of relief. Get out of the knockout stage. The emotions could no longer be held back and tears streamed down from the excitement. When everyone was thinking that Tracy was not good enough. Fortunately, I was the most capable and proved my strength. Jamie and Susan were in a rather bad mood. It's uncomfortable to team up with Tracy if you win. It's also very uncomfortable to go home after losing. The two of them can only focus on the situation of the pot now. I hope the knockout stage can end as soon as possible. I'm still quite optimistic about Jamie's side. The flame almost enveloped the pot. Unlike Susan, where the flame touches the pot intermittently. Even if firewood is constantly added, it won't be much better. Who do you think will be eliminated between them? There are more and more bubbles in Jamie's pot. No accidents occurred. The water has boiled now. Just wait to move this aside to cool it down. Susan finally waited until the water boiled. The gap between the two sides is not very large. It's just that Jamie's hands and feet are a little faster on this side. Although Susan was a little reluctant to go home. But it's really wonderful to be able to keep challenging. Anyway, did Susan also bless her teammates? Hope they can persist for a longer time. The tears are really hard to hold back. Looking back, there weren't any highlights in the previous challenges. Susan's performance this time was really not so good. Hope she still has the chance to come and challenge herself to prove herself. There are only 10 players left on the field now. Tracy and Jamie must enhance their cooperation. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to compete against other groups. There is no Susan there to obstruct now. Tracy felt that was much more comfortable. Fortunately, it wasn't Jamie who came home. Otherwise, I would be no different from living alone in the wilderness. The challenge has reached the 8th day. Parker went to fetch water by the stream as soon as he woke up. It was unexpectedly discovered that wild boars were eating there. Returned to the camp immediately to get the weapons. If this piggy could be taken down, they won't have to worry about food and drink for at least a month. Jimmy also came out to help. Parker, on the other hand, was observing the wild boar's movements on the side. It's a pity that there's only one bow and arrow. Otherwise, I would have rushed up and tried it long ago. It's better not to engage in close combat. Their bodies were nudged by wild boars. I'm afraid I would have sent it home back then. Jimmy moved closer slowly. The wild boar hasn't detected the danger yet. The distance between the two sides is a little far. It will be best to get closer. If one cannot kill with a single shot, I'm afraid it will be very difficult to have such an opportunity next time. The process of hunting is just like this. It is necessary to have enough patience to struggle with the prey. Parker thought Jerm was too cautious. If it were me, I would have touched the wild boar right now. Jerome shouldn't have been asked to help. Look, the wild boar runs away as soon as it smells the smell. So what's the use of walking slowly? I still think it would be better to rush over directly. The Darling group went out to look for food. Recently, I've just been indulging in berries to satisfy my craving. The stomach has been in an empty state. It's certain that I won't be able to hold on like this. Explore the past along the stream. Hope to find something to eat. Darling thinks this place is quite suitable for crayfish. Perhaps it could be salvaged in the evening, although one cannot provide much energy. But all of these are very delicious when processed. It is especially suitable for them to enjoy themselves in hardship. Fortunately, there are figs on the tree next door. This is much more delicious than those berries. It would be even better if there were bugs inside. The protein is several times that of beef. It just looks a little disgusting. Anyway, Kailuo just couldn't bear it. Rather go hungry than eat. This might as well be used as bait. Perhaps there's a chance to catch a big fish. After nightfall, Parker kept blaming Germ there. If it weren't for his dragging his feet, we will be able to have a barbecue feast tonight. The mood was quite bad. I have to do it myself next time. The suggestion is that we all go and look for it together tomorrow. As long as the traces of wild boars can be found, Parker is confident that he can make a comeback. It's not even dawn. Matt and Laura said they were going hunting outside. No wonder they can become legendary players. There was no slackness at all just because there were goats to eat. They need to further expand their advantages. Having 2 bows and arrows also means be able to act separately to expand the hunting range. They think there is quite an abundance of prey nearby. Especially, there are a large number of warthogs. There is confidence that it can be found through the traces. There are more wild boar footprints here than I imagined. They are not greedy either. As long as one can be caught, that's enough. A particularly obvious path can be seen. Quite a few fallen feathers appeared on the ground. Matt recognized it was an emu at a glance. They look a little like ostriches. It is said that the meat is even more delicious than turkey. He really wants to take it back and have a good taste. Stepping on this place is very likely to be their nest. Neither of them has any problem staying inside. It's a pity that emus don't lay eggs here. Otherwise, one would fill their stomachs. The ingredients here are so abundant. I just don't know when I can get some meat to eat. Jamie and Tracy are also thinking about how to obtain food. The fishing gear was snatched away by Parker at the beginning. They only have this little fishing line left to use. The fish innards were deliberately kept before. Sure enough, quite a few maggots were produced as bait. It's just that this smell is really too bad. It almost threw Tracy up. Enduring the discomfort, I managed to get them up. Look how fresh and lively this is. Hope the fish in the water can come and take a bite. Hardly had he finished speaking when Jamie caught a fish over there. These baits are indeed useful. Tracy also caught fish and brought them up. At that time, some maggots will be cultivated using the internal organs of the fish. Believe that it will surely work if you keep it up. Darling was thinking about how to catch crayfish at night. First of all, it is definitely necessary to have a torch to illuminate. Years of experience told him. The trees here must have been gnawed by termites. Removing the empty wood can save a lot of effort. With just a few clicks, a section is completed. Trim the surface slightly, then just stuff it with hay. The manufacturing difficulty is not very high. I believe Darling will be able to handle it soon. Matt and Laura returned to this side of the camp. Although no food was hunted, but the nest of the emu was discovered. Its size is definitely satisfactory. I originally thought it was just an accidental discovery. I never expected to attract the program team. Just when the Matt group was confused, the director came and told them it wasn't an emu nest. Let Matt's group move closer over there. Experts believe it is Bigfoot's home. In the eyes of the locals, provoking them will bring bloodshed. Matt and Laura are very confused about this. They crawled in, but found nothing. Anyway, the director has already warned. You can't check over there anymore. Although Matt's group found it rather baffling, but still follow the arrangement and don't continue to explore. Although it is said so, but they were still chatting about that Bigfoot. I think the program team is just causing trouble. How could it be such a coincidence? Probably no one would believe it, would they? The Darling group has already prepared for foraging at night. There's only this one torch. We have to catch the crayfish before it goes out and return to the camp. Just entered the jungle. The sound of animals walking was constantly heard. One has to stop and observe. You can leave only after making sure it is safe. Sure enough, going out at night is dangerous. It is suggested that more people will be better. It's okay to have fish over there at Tracy's. It's just that the portion is a little less. I don't know what's moving outside either. They were so scared that they could only look outside on guard. And the Parker team also heard the sound. They were not at all intimidated. Get up directly and go outside to check. Parker even picked up the bow, an arrow, and approached slowly. I have no idea what it is either. Anyway, let's just shoot an arrow first. Once again, I lost the chance to barbecue freely. Hope it will come here for a stroll tomorrow too. The challenge has reached the 10th day. Matt and Laura went hunting again before dawn. Is Parker's team still thinking about how to get Piggy? Chris suggested that we go and have a look on the opposite side. The pig looked very big last night. It's very difficult for one person to handle. James doesn't want Parker to take risks alone. Everyone understands the principle. But Parker just wanted to go hunting. He dislikes others' doubts very much. The previous challenges thus contradicted. Anyway, Parker is just going his own way. I hope I won't be attacked by wild boars. James doesn't think highly of Parker. Even if no wild boar was hunted, they can also continue to challenge. Is it really necessary to take the risk of hunting? After Matt and Laura were warned by the director, another direction was chosen. There are quite a few traces of wild boars here. Worried that the sense of the two might scare the prey away. Fortunately, mushroom spores were used to test the wind direction. As long as it doesn't go with the wind, that's fine. The speed at which the two walked was very slow. Matt managed to get within range with great difficulty. Pick up the bow, an arrow, and wait for the wild boar to show its head. The distance between the two sides was quite close. Matt adjusted his breathing to get ready. Unfortunately, it didn't hit the mark. Instead, it frightened the surrounding animals. There's no other way but to retrieve the arrows first. The deeper you go, the stinky the smell becomes. This wild boar must have stayed here for a long time. Matt found the arrow smoothly. I didn't expect there to be blood on it, and it's the kind with bubbles. Believe that wild boars won't run too far. No matter what, you have to follow up and take a look. The bloodstain here is not obvious. Obviously, that arrow worked. I just don't know where that wild boar is waiting to be eaten. The two kept exploring and searching nearby, but the wild boar seemed to have suddenly disappeared. Is it meaningful to keep looking? Matt said that he had come, then searched this entire area. Suddenly, the cries of wild boars were heard. The two followed the sound over to have a look. There are also many traces of wild boars on Parker's side. I originally thought it would take quite a lot of time to look for prey. I never expected it to appear so vividly. Do you all think Parker can hunt it? Let's wait and see together.